Good afternoon, boys and girls of all ages. Yours truly, Eddie Jeezy, back on duty, giving you all the latest sports news updates in and around the NBA as well as the Lakers. So first and foremost, we have to give a huge shout out to the 40-year-old Senator Manny Pacquiao. Were able to beat Keith Thurman last night by a split decision. Manny Pacquiao floored Thurman early and persevered late to an exciting split decision victory on Saturday night. So in Las Vegas, from his first round knockdown punches to his tenacious 12-round finish, Manny Pacquiao gave yet another one-sided thrashing to Father Time. Keith Thurman, on the other hand, was a whole lot tougher to beat, but the 40-year-old Filipino senator managed to win that vote as well. Pacquiao floored Thurman early and persevered late to an exciting split decision victory Saturday night, adding a third straight win to his late career resurgence. Pacquiao, with a professional record of 62 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws, dropped his previously unbeaten opponent with a combination late in the first round, and Pac-Man dominated the opening rounds with a combination of flair and power that recalled the incredible prime of the only 8th division champion in boxing history. So congratulations going out to Manny Pacquiao and the rest of the Filipino people. Now going back to basketball, the NBA Computer Power Rankings came out today. That's an exciting news. So these rankings are actually based on the percent chance each team has of winning the NBA championship. And this article is being brought to you by Scout Staff. So coming in at number 1 with the most chance of winning the NBA championship are the Los Angeles Clippers, coming in at 21.2%. With their massive move to get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, the Clippers are now the number 1 in the Western Division with nearly 55 wins per simulation. This assumes Kawhi sits around 15 games as part of load management. Their championship percentage leads the league. They have a 75.9% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 50.5% chance of getting past round 2. And their chances of then winning the West is 32.8% chance. They have 21.2% chance of winning the championship. The regular season went better than expected. They won 48 games versus an expected win total of 42.4 games. They exceeded expectations on both the road and at home. Their 63.4% home win percentage was better than expected at 60%, and they won 53.7% on the road, which was much better than expected at 43.4%. Sliding down to number 2 spot are the Milwaukee Bucks with a 17.2% chance of winning the NBA championship. They were 2-0 against the eventual champ. They also kept Chris Middleton along with Brook Lopez. But by losing Malcolm Brogdon to a division rival, resulting in their slipping to the number 2 spot in the East, with Kawhi leaving Toronto, they are back on top. They have a 79.1% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 51.6% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the East is at 31.8% chance. They have 17.2% chance of winning the championship. Their 60 regular season wins exceeded expectations. It was plus 3.2 above what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went better than expected. They won more games than expected at home and on the road. They won 65.9% on the road, which was better than expected at 62.3%. They won 33 at home and were expected to win 31.2 games. Sliding in at the number 3 spot are the Philadelphia 76ers with a 13.4% chance of winning the NBA championship. Philadelphia was projected to be a 55-win team if they were able to bring back their roster from last season. Without J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, they slipped to a 50-win team. But by getting Al Horford, they moved back up to a 54.5 win team. Not as good as they could have been, but a lot better than they were for a few minutes. They have a 76.2% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 45.3% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the East is 24.6% chance. They have 13.4% chance of winning the championship. The sum of all of their regular season moneyline implied probabilities projects to 49.5 wins. Their 51 actual wins was above expectations. They exceeded expectations at home. They won 48.8% on the road, which was as expected at 50.5%. They won 31 games at home and were expected to win 28.8 games. Moving on to the number 4 spot, the Los Angeles Lakers coming in at 12.4% chance of winning the NBA championship. The Anthony Davis trade vaulted them to the top of the West, but Utah's bold moves and Kawhi's move to the Clippers put them back to number 3 spot. But by acquiring Danny Green and re-signing JaVale McGee, they should be a solid defensive team and manage to hold on to the 2nd spot in the West. They have a 66.5% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 39.1% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the West is at 21.9%. They have 12.4% chance of winning the championship. Their 37 regular season wins did not meet expectation. It was negative 1.9 below what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went worse than expected. They came up short on the road. They were okay at home. Their 53.7% home win percentage was as expected of 52.7%. They won 36.6% on the road, which was much worse than expected at 42%. Coming in at number 5 are the Indiana Pacers with a 6.6% chance of winning the NBA championship. And it looked like Ricky Rubio was going to go to Indiana immediately after Darren Collison retired. Our projection for the Pacers dropped from 50 to 48 wins because Rubio cannot shoot by getting Brogdon and Jeremy Lamb. Instead, they improved to nearly 55 wins despite losing Thaddeus Young and not retaining Bogdanovich. They were a great long shot value to win the championship. They have a 64.4% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 34.4% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the East is 17.3%. They have 6.6% chance of winning the championship, and their regular 48 season wins exceeded expectations. It was positive 2.5 above what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went better than expected. They exceeded expectations at home. So at home, they went 19-22 on the road and were expected to win 19.2 games. Their 70.7% home win percentage was better than expected at 64%. Sliding down to the number 6 spot is no other than the Golden State Warriors, coming in at 5.4% chance of winning the NBA championship. The Golden State are only projected to win 49 games with the injury to Klay Thompson, the losses of key veterans, and the addition of new pieces like D'Angelo Russell. But come March 2020, they should be back on solid footing. And despite being 6th in projected record, they have a 48% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 23.1% chance of getting past round 2, and their chances of then winning the West is 10.5%. They have 5.4% chance of winning the championship. Their 57 regular season wins did not meet expectations. It was negative 3.9 below what odds make. Odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went worse than expected. They met expectations on the road. It was at home where they came up short. They went 27-14 on the road and were expected to win 27.7 games. Moving on to the number 7 spot, we have the Boston Celtics with a 5.1% chance of winning the NBA championship. Without Kyrie Irving and Al Horford, their projected win total dropped significantly from 51 games down to 44 games. With Kemba Walker, Eunice Kanter, and improved chemistry, they are backed up to a 49-win projection. They have a 58.5% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 28.3% chance of getting past round 2. And their chances of then winning the East is 13.3% chance. They have 5.1% chance of winning the championship, the regular season went worse than expected. They won 49 games versus an expected win total of 52.1 games. They didn't meet expectations on the road, and at home they went 21-20. And on the road, they were expected to win 23.1 games. Their 68.3% home win percentage was worse than expected at 70.9%. Moving on to the number 9 spot, we have the Utah Jazz coming in at 4.5% chance of winning the championship. The Utah Jazz jumped from a projected 7th best conference record to the best after upgrading to Mike Conley. By adding one of the best shooters, who is also pretty clutch in Bojan Bogdanovic, and a very solid underrated big man in Ed Davis, the Jazz are now number 1 in the West. But after the Clippers got Kawhi and Paul George, the Lakers got Danny Green and re-signed JaVale McGee, the Jazz are now at number 3 in the West. They have a 52.3% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 23.3% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the West is 9.5%. They have 4.5% chance of winning the championship. The regular season went worse than expected. They won 50 games versus an expected win total of 53.7 games. They came up short at home and on the road. They went 21-20 on the road and were expected to win 23.4. They won 29 at home and were expected to win 30.4 games. Now, coming in at number 10, you have the Houston Rockets at 4.2% chance of winning the NBA championship. The Rockets would have wise to get over their chemistry issues from last season and just try to win in 2019 and 2020 with the same core. But clearly, the Harden-Paul relationship was broken. The Rockets had the best record when Paul was healthy for the past 2 seasons. To think that Russell Westbrook would be a better point guard is crazy. They went from 51 wins to 50 wins after the trade and a lower chance of winning the West. They have a 46.5% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 20.4% chance of getting past round 2. Their chances of then winning the West is at 9.1%. They have 4.2% chance of winning the championship. The regular season went as expected. They won 53 games versus an expected win total of 52.1. Their strength was at home. They went 22-19 on the road and were expected to win 23.2 games. They won 31 at home and were expected to win 20. Now, moving on to the number 11 spot. Toronto Raptors has a 1.8% chance of winning the NBA championship after winning it last year. Now, without Kawhi Leonard, the Raptors dropped to under 47 wins per simulation and the 5th spot in the East. Their chance of repeating were right around 14% with Kawhi Leonard. That number dropped by nearly 13 percentage points after Kawhi left. They have a 45.2% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 16.8% chance of getting past round 2. If they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the East is 5.8%. They have a 1.8% chance of winning the championship. The sum of all their regular season money line implied probabilities projects to 55.2 wins. Their 58 actual wins was above expectations. They won more games than expected at home and on the road. Their 78% home win percentage was better than expected at 75.1%. They won 63.4% on the road, which was better than expected. So sliding down at the number 12 spot, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. Yes, with a 1.2% chance of winning the NBA championship, Portland has dropped from a projected 4th seed immediately at the end of the last season to a 8th seed as the Clippers, Lakers, Jazz have leapfrogged them. They have a 27.4% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 10.1% chance of getting past round 2. And if they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the West stands at 3.1%. They also have a 1.2% chance of winning the championship. Their 53-game regular season wins exceeded expectations. It was plus 6.1 above what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went better than expected. They exceeded expectations at home. Their 78% home win percentage was much better than expected at 64.8%. They won 51.2% on the road, which was expected at 49.5%. Moving on to the number 13 spot, we have the Miami Heat at 0.6% chance of winning the championship. Goran Dragic was a good player, but at this point he is a subpar, inefficient lead combo guard. By moving on from him and getting Jimmy Butler, the Heat went from a number 9 seed in the East to a number 6 in the East projection. They have a 22.6% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 7.7% chance of getting past round 2. And if they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the East stands at 2.5%. While not mathematically eliminated, they are winning the championship in under 0.1 percentage of simulations. The regular season went worse than expected. They won 39 games versus an expected win total of 40.6. Home court was not an advantage, at least not in terms of meeting expectations. They were okay on the road. They won 48.8% on the road, which was much better than expected at 41.4%. They also won 19 games at home and were expected to win 23.6 games. Moving on to the number 14 spot, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder with a 0.5% chance of winning the NBA championship. The Thunder were projected to win 49 and be one of the 7 potential teams with a legit shot to win the Western Conference. With Paul George unfortunately heading to the Clippers, the Thunder dropped to a projected number 9 seed in the West with just 41 wins. But after trading Russell Westbrook for Chris Paul, they are back up to 45 wins. Houston had the best record after the All-Star break when Chris Paul was healthy. They struggled when he was out. Paul may not be able to win the championship as the best player on the team, but he is the best point guard for a young team needed leadership, of course. The plus 4 wins is not worth $40 million a year, so look for Chris Paul to get traded and the Thunder to fall out of the playoff picture. They have a 17% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 5% chance of getting past round 2. If they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the West is at 1.5%. While not mathematically eliminated, they are winning the championship in under 0.1%. Their 49 regular season wins did not meet expectations. It was negative 2.2 below what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went worse than expected. They met expectations on the road. It was at home where they came up short. Their 65.9% home win percentage was worse than expected at 70.6%. They won 53.7% on the road, which was as expected at 50%. Coming in at number 15 spot, we have the Orlando Magic with a 0.4% chance of winning the NBA championship. If they did not keep Vucevic, the Magic would have slipped to being a 35-win team and not in the playoff picture. They have an 18.4% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 5.5% chance of getting past round 2. If they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the East stands at 1.5%. While not mathematically eliminated, they are winning the championship in under 0.1% of simulations. Their 42 regular season wins exceeded expectations. It was plus 5.2 above what odds makers Moneyline projected. The season went better than expected. They exceeded expectations on both the road and at home. Their 61% home win percentage was better than expected at 53.3%. They won 41.5% on the road, which was better than expected at 36.6%. So coming in at number 16 spot, we have the Detroit Pistons with 0.3% chance of winning the NBA championship. Detroit was projected for 41 wins before signing Derrick Rose. With him, they are now projected to win still at 41. They have a 16.8% chance of getting past the first round of the playoffs. They have a 5.3% chance of getting past round 2. If they do manage to beat the odds and advance past round 2, their chances of winning the East is 1.6%. While not mathematically eliminated, they are winning the championship in under 0.1% of simulations. Their 41 regular season wins exceeded expectations. It was plus 0.4 above what the odds makers money line projected. The season went as expected. They exceeded expectations at home. They won 36.6% on the road, which was worse than expected at 40.1%. They won 26 at home and were expected to win 24.2 games. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel. So those are the top 16 power rankings in the NBA League. Yours truly, Eddie G. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Peace, and we are out.